I still remember the day I chose him over everything. And everyone. People said I was foolish. Why would you marry a man who has nothing? My mother asked, her voice trembling with worry. He can't even afford his own rent. How will he take care of you? But I didn't listen. Because when I looked at him, I didn't see poverty. I saw kindness. I saw honesty. I saw a man who held my hand like I was the most important thing in his world. His name was Ayan. He lived in a small rented room, wore simple clothes, and counted every rupee before spending it. There were days he skipped meals, but he would still bring me my favorite street coffee like it was a luxury. And I fell in love with that version of him. We got married quietly. No big ceremony, no gold, no expensive clothes, just two people promising to stay together through everything. And for a while, it felt like the purest love story. I adjusted to his life. I learned to cook on a small stove. I stopped buying things I once loved. I told myself, this is what real love looks like. Sacrifice. But sometimes, late at night, I noticed things. Tiny things. Like how he would get sudden phone calls and step outside to answer them. Or how he would disappear for hours and come back with vague explanations. Just some work, he'd say with a soft smile. I trusted him. I always did, until one day, something didn't feel right. I found a receipt in his pocket. It wasn't from a place someone poor would ever go. It was from an expensive hotel, the kind I had only seen in movies. My heart didn't break that day. It paused, because in that moment I realized something terrifying. I didn't really know my husband at all. And what I didn't know back then was that my entire marriage was built on a truth he had carefully hidden. At first, I tried to ignore it. I told myself there must be a simple explanation. Maybe he went there for work. Maybe it belonged to someone else. But doubt is a dangerous thing. Once it enters your heart, it doesn't leave quietly. It grows. Every late-night call started to feel suspicious. Every unexplained absence began to hurt more than before. One evening, I finally asked him, Ayan, are you hiding something from me? He looked at me, calm, steady, almost too perfect. No, he said. Why would I? And I believed him. Again. But something inside me had already shifted. A few days later, I followed him. I hated myself for it, but I needed the truth. He didn't go to work. He didn't meet any friends. Instead, he walked straight into that same luxury hotel. My hands started shaking. I waited outside for what felt like hours, until I couldn't take it anymore. I went in. The place was beautiful, elegant. Everything I had given up after marrying him. And then I saw him, not in his simple clothes, not as the man I knew, but in a perfectly tailored suit, standing confidently at the reception like he belonged there, like he owned the place. I couldn't breathe. I walked toward him slowly. Ayan? He turned. And for the first time since I met him, he looked shocked. Not guilty, not afraid, just caught. Who are you? I whispered. Because in that moment, he felt like a stranger. That's when the truth came out. Not all at once, but piece by piece. He wasn't poor, not even close. He was rich. Extremely rich. That hotel, it was his family's. The job he went to, he didn't need one. Everything I believed about him was a lie. Why? I asked, my voice breaking. Why would you do this to me? He looked down, then back at me. I needed to know, he said quietly. I needed to know if someone could love me, not my money. His words hit me like a storm. Because yes, I had loved him when I thought he had nothing. But he had taken my trust and tested it like it was nothing. I didn't feel proud. I didn't feel chosen. I felt betrayed. Because love doesn't test you like that. Love trusts you. And in that moment, I realized something painful. He didn't trust me enough to be honest. And that broke me more than any lie. I didn't scream. I didn't cry in front of him. I just smiled. A quiet, controlled smile that even surprised me. Congratulations, I said softly. You got your answer. He frowned. What do you mean? I stepped back, creating distance between us, the kind that can't be closed easily. You wanted to see if I could love a poor man, I said. Well, I did. My voice didn't shake anymore. But now, I continued, I get to see if you can handle losing someone who truly loved you. That's when his expression changed. Panic. Real panic. Wait, what are you saying? I'm saying, I replied calmly, that I didn't marry your money, but I also didn't agree to marry your lies. For the first time, he didn't have control over the situation. I can explain, he said quickly. I can fix this. But I shook my head. No, because this wasn't a mistake, I said. This was a choice. And choices have consequences. I left that day, not with anger, Not with revenge in the dramatic way people expect, but with something stronger: self-respect. Days passed. Then weeks. He called, he messaged, he even showed up outside my place. But I didn't go back, because I realized something important. A man who tests your love instead of trusting it will always make you feel like you have to prove your worth, and love should never feel like a test. Months later, I heard he was still alone, still rich, still surrounded by everything money could buy. Except the one thing he lost: someone who loved him when he had nothing. As for me, I rebuilt my life, slowly, quietly, but honestly. And now, when I look back, I don't regret loving him. I regret trusting a version of him that wasn't real. Because in the end, wealth doesn't break relationships. Lies do. And no amount of hidden riches can ever replace a truth that was never given.